This weekend, the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship heads back to Lydden Hill in Kent, the spiritual home of Rallycross, with some great machinery on display. It's been an all-action championship, and last time out up at Croft, it was as frantic as ever. Mark Higgins was on the hunt for points after a bad weekend at Pembrey. Others, like Liam Manning, were just keen to score well. As weather conditions deteriorated, Ollie O'Donovan was in strife, and the man that came through for his first proper win of the season, Julian Godfrey. Taking maximum points at Silverstone at the start of the season, Godfrey now heads the championship, but he's only one ahead of O'Donovan and Higgins.
Mark Higgins, you come here to Lydden Hill today, second in the British Rallycross Championship, just a point behind the lead joint with Ollie in second. It's going to be super tight today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Looking at the time so far this morning, it's very, very close between everybody, so it's going to be a really good race. We've got nice weather. Last time we were here it was pretty horrendous, so I think it'll be really interesting. It's a fantastic track, so if we have a good, enjoyable race, it's going to be very, very close.
Three-time winner so far this season, come here second in the championship, just a point off the lead, joint with Mark in second place, but you've had to switch cars this morning.
Yeah, Hal, it's been very tight. Championship is very, very good. A lot of panic, but there was a major panic this morning. We were getting ready for first practice, and we had a refueling issue where something went wrong refueling, and it exploded my fuel tank. So we had to jump back. Luckily, we brought the second car to go for France Monday, so we had no choice. We had about 12 minutes to get ready and jump into the second car.
We're getting ready now for the supercar final. Julian Godfrey, Mark Higgins, Ollie O'Donovan, the top three in the championship, set to go head-to-head. Q1 at the start of the day fell to Mark Higgins. He made a perfect start, fended off welcome returnee Ollie Bennett, topped the times, a win in the first supercar race of the day. It was a great effort by Higgins, returning to the scene of his first and so far only win in the championship this year. In the second race, there was tough opposition for the championship leader Julian Godfrey. There was Kevin Proctor, there was Ollie O'Donovan. Ollie O'Donovan was the man in form, and he came through to score the race win. Q2 had early drama. Steve Hill losing it at the Devil's Elbow. Contact with Jake Harris avoided. Harris came through to win his race. Q2 got underway with Julian Godfrey blasting away from the outside of the front row of the grid. He was desperate to try and attack and do what he could to work his way up into contention and be fastest, which he was, just ahead of Mark Higgins. Ollie O'Donovan blasted away, a good start in Q3, working his way across the loose section of the circuit. And O'Donovan looking strong as he accelerated his way down through paddock. For O'Donovan, an important race win. So, at the end of qualifying, Mark Higgins it is, ahead of Ollie Bennett and Kevin Proctor. Ollie O'Donovan fourth, Julian Godfrey fifth. He didn't joker in his last race and copped a penalty.
Ollie puncturing Q2, that hasn't helped your cause, but a race win in Q3. You're on the second row of the grid on the inside. Is that preferable for you?
Yeah, it's okay, all right. Mark is in pole. I hope to tuck in behind Mark. I do like any part of the front row because sometimes you can get away quick in the joker lap. The risk on the joker lap, if you do come up behind a slower car, he can hold you back a little bit. You know, if I can just tuck in behind Mark for the first corner and see what happens.
We are ready to go racing. This is the final for the MSA British Rallycross Championship here at Lydden. It's round 7 of the championship, and it's Mark Higgins on pole, Ollie Bennett and Kevin Proctor with him, Ollie O'Donovan and Julian Godfrey on row 2, Steve Hill, Jake Harris, and then Steve Mundy on the back row. The lights go green, and we are racing, and a demon stop by O'Donovan from the second row. Elbows his way out the middle, there's contact as Proctor bounces off Bennett. Proctor jokers, Godfrey jokers. Julian Godfrey making sure he doesn't forget this time. He gets it out of the way on the opening lap of the race. Through they come then. It is Mark Higgins leading within second place and chasing after him. Right on his tail, Ollie O'Donovan. Those that have got the joker out of the way now can concentrate on picking back the places, making up that lost time. Higgins leads. This is O'Donovan's view as they go up the hill towards the hairpin. There's a gap on the inside, is there? There is now. O'Donovan gets out his elbows, 2 bits of contact. He elbows his way alongside Higgins. He's gone through. Mark Higgins on the outside line, tries to fight back, but Ollie O'Donovan goes through. The Ford Fiesta goes ahead of the Peugeot 208. They're back onto tarmac, and Higgins gets that joker out of the way. If he can't get past on the track, can he do it on the undercut on the joker lap? Let's see. He's got to be really quick about this. There is O'Donovan leading on the road ahead of Bennett, and then it's Hill in third place. Higgins is the best of those that have served a joker. He runs fourth for the moment. What he wants to try to do now is press on, close onto the traffic ahead and try and get back ahead when O'Donovan serves the joker. So Ollie O'Donovan, who has been very much the man to beat really this season, he's already taken 3 victories in the supercar category. He's a former British champion, comes down then through paddock, chased by Ollie Bennett. Good to have him back. There is Steve Hill in 3rd place. We've got Pembrey and we've got Silverstone still to go in the championship this year as Higgins 2-wheels his way up the curb, and over the curb goes Julian Godfrey. Now Godfrey came here as the championship leader. Steve Hill gets ahead of O'Donovan, who stays ahead of Higgins. That is very important indeed. Ollie O'Donovan in real terms is still the race leader because he'll inherit track position back again when Steve Hill serves the joker. So double OD, Ollie O'Donovan it is, still leading. Mark Higgins is 2nd. Look back from Steve Hill's Mitsubishi. O'Donovan closing up under braking through the hairpin they turn now. Up to 4th gear. And you can see as O'Donovan stands on the brakes and the back wags and he's closing on the Mitsubishi. Ollie O'Donovan, ever spectacular driver, rides the curb. Mark Higgins chases after him, but really now what Mark needs is for Ollie O'Donovan to make a mistake and drift out wide. It's not for happening, seemingly, as they come across the loose. Ollie O'Donovan leads the way, Mark Higgins 2nd, Jake Harris was slow in the background. The gap's coming down between the 2 race leaders, but can Mark Higgins do anything about the man in front of him now? There is Kevin Proctor across the loose, he comes. And Mark Higgins continues to push. All it needs is for Ollie O'Donovan to look in his mirror, get distracted and run a bit deep, and Higgins will be on him. And there is Jake Harris still struggling. Great shame that, because the LD Motorsports Citroën DS3 has had a good day. Here's the lead gap, and it's virtually nothing at all now. The Albatech racing car chases on, but Ollie O'Donovan in this car, built and prepared by Rallycross legend Tony Bardi, maybe rallycrosser or indeed circuit racer himself, Tony Bardi. He still leads, and they make the climb up the hill. Ollie Bennett is nearly with them, and Julian Godfrey is struggling, and he's out wide. Has he got a problem? There was a bit of smoke coming from the right front corner. It might just have been tar smoke as he understeered, or it could be a puncture. Look at the right front. Is it a bit low? I think it might be. I think Godfrey's got a deflating tyre there, and he's losing time. O'Donovan, though, is on target for the win. He's on his last lap, and Mark Higgins chasing, just can't quite get there. Through the chicane, they turn further back. Steve Hill ahead of Julian Godfrey, and this is really significant for the championship. O'Donovan set for a win, Higgins set for 2nd, and Godfrey dropping places. It's going to turn things on its head again in the title fight. It has been some season this year, really good, and we're not done yet. Mark Higgins' arrival on the scene has given it this real injection of fresh blood, if you like, somebody new to rallycross from rallying, new machinery for Julian Godfrey, the ex-James Grint Mitsubishi, so it's all changed. Ollie O'Donovan, though, is set for win number 4 of the season. The checkered flag is at the ready. Ollie O'Donovan wins at Lydden. Mark Higgins takes 2nd, and Ollie Bennett on the podium. A great drive as he comes through for 3rd place. And what about Julian Godfrey? He makes it home, but a long way down the order. 5th, I think that's going to be for him. Julian Godfrey ahead of Steve Mundy, but losing points. And Kevin Proctor also a long way back as he, with damage, comes through now. A 2-second penalty given to Ollie O'Donovan for gaining an unfair advantage. So Mark Higgins takes the win. Question is, have they yet been told?
Yeah, we're very happy. A good start. We're on the 2nd row of the grade. I discussed with Mark actually. I was going to follow him through Chestons, you know, and it all worked out planned. Ollie Bennett was a bit of an eye-opener. He made a great start as well. And going up the hill, I see Mark pulling a little bit too much to the left, and I thought he might leave a gap open, and sure enough he did. I didn't need much of a gap, we just got in there.
And you joked immediately afterwards. Tony Bardi on the radio, obviously to cover Mark off in the final.
Yes, Tony was on the radio. He said, get in the joker, get done early, because we couldn't really pace Julian and Ollie Bennett, what was happening behind us, you know what I mean? So get the joker done early, because we're going to come back out in a quick pace.
Qualifying pole position for the final, didn't make the perfect start, but still led on the first lap. Talk through what happened after that.
Yeah, we had an okay start, so we got launched. Ollie had a good one as well and was alongside, so we did a lot of rubbing into the first corner. And then just come around the hairpin, I got a big whack in the side and punted out wide, so he was up the inside and that was it, and we were behind him for the rest of the race, unfortunately. So
And you pushed pretty hard, took an early joker to try and take the undercut, but Ollie covered that off, as in Pembrey, and not much you can do from there.
No, he had a good run. I mean, we had similar pace. There was nothing between us, really. We could gain on certain bits and he gained on other bits, so it was really, really close. There was nothing between us.
So an all-action day at Lydden, and it puts Mark Higgins back into the lead in the championship. He's 3 points ahead of Ollie O'Donovan, and Julian Godfrey now falls to third. The stars of the future of Rallycross are on display in the MSA Junior Rallycross Championship. We've had a mix of winners, and here at Lydden, there's more action guaranteed. After qualifying, Tom Constantine is the man to beat. Fastest in 2 of the 3 qualifying races. Brother Luke, his main opposition. We're ready for the final then. Pole position, Tom Constantine, Luke, and then cousin James with him on the front row. Marius Solberg, Hansen and Ben Sayer on row 2, ahead of Morgan Root, Will Leighton and Patrick O'Donovan. Grid is formed, the lights will blink green to go racing. Can Solberg Hansen get himself up from the second row of the grid? The championship leader tries to wriggle his way through, but he can't quite do it, as there, look, James Constantine and Ben Sayer and Patrick O'Donovan all go for the joker lap here. O'Donovan in the silver car squeezes up the inside and he goes through. O'Donovan gains the place. Accelerating their way along the Dover slope for the first time into the Devil's Elbow. Morgan Root has got himself up past Marius Solberg Hansen as well. So Solberg Hansen here slipping back in the pack. Not good news, certainly not what he needs. Hard on the brakes into the hairpin. Morgan Root then, who's been there or thereabouts all season, has got some work to do now to get more ground out of this race as they drop down the hill again. It's been a busy day for the juniors with their qualifying heats. They've had some good action. And now as they accelerate their way out of paddock and now blast back towards the tarmac, up front, but only just at the end of the opening lap, is Luke Constantine then. Second is brother Tom. Is it going to be a fight between these two? They are nose to tail here, look, as they come across the loose, but rather wide goes Tom Constantine. With the yellow flashes on the car, it is Luke Constantine just up ahead. Luke won at Pembrey in the second of the 2 days of action there at the doubleheader in June. Climbing the hill, nose to tail. Now is Tom Constantine going to be able to make a move here and find a way by? The last thing the family wants is for contact between the two. That said, it is still every man for himself. Out of the hairpin they come, down the hill now. Turning their way into paddock through that right-hander, across the loose section of the circuit, through the right. Then you'll flick left and right once more. There, bouncing his way over the curb is James Constantine. Now remember, he got the joker out of the way early on. Tom Constantine serves his joker now. Is that going to bring him back into contention? Let's see. He comes across the loose section of the circuit. It will very definitely put him ahead of James Constantine and the other drivers that have jokered. Is it now going to bring him, when the joker unravels, ahead of Luke Constantine? He's already pushing on, look. 3 drivers yet to serve the joker lap. The best of those that have jokered is Tom Constantine. He comes here second in the championship, 6 points adrift of Marius Solberg Hansen, and he should be able, barring a disaster, to outscore him in this race. Here they come down the hill again. Marius Solberg Hansen trying to use all of the road, trying to gain time over the opposition. Patrick O'Donovan bounces his way across the loose, and there, serving his joker now, is Will Leighton. Whoops, almost gets it wrong there. Bit too much speed carried into that part of the circuit. But he just about survives. So Will Leighton scrabbles his way through. Fraction of time lost, but still going. Now in the meantime, Ben Sayer has got himself now back ahead of Will Leighton on the joker. And there they are, climbing the hill, almost nose to tail now as they break for the hairpin, turn into the right-hander. Up front, it is Luke Constantine then leading the way. Can he be on target here for a second win of the season? Down they come, in towards paddock, through the right-hander. The ever-improving Patrick O'Donovan has got himself onto the back of James Constantine as Luke goes for the joker. Now, has he done enough to stay ahead? It's going to be tight. He brakes, he slows the car for the chicane. He goes right, he goes left. And this is where his heart will either leap or sink. It's going to sink because there, Tom Constantine, his brother, is ahead of him. Tom Constantine goes through on the Joker lap. Tom Con it is that leads as they go into the left of the Devil's Elbow. Luke Constantine down in second place, and it looks like it's going to be a lockout for the family, because seemingly James Constantine is there in third place. Nose to tail, the two brothers run up towards the hairpin, but can there be a change on this last half of the last lap? They are absolutely together as they drop down the hill here, hanging on to the lead, but only just. Look, Tom Constantine started on pole. He's going to win the race, and is it going to be enough to put him into the championship lead? We'll see as they all file through. It's a win at Lydden for Tom Constantine. Luke Constantine takes second, James Constantine takes third, and then the rest headed home by Patrick O'Donovan. More great racing as ever in the MSA Junior Rallycross Championship. Tom Constantine heads brother Luke and cousin James. Patrick O'Donovan fourth from Ben Sayer, newcomer Will Layton, but the championship leader Marius Solberg Hansen only seventh, meaning he falls to third in the points behind Tom and Luke Constantine, with just 4 points between them after 7 rounds. There's always great racing provided by the combined grid of Super Nationals and Super 1600s. Tristan Ovenden comes here leading the Super National Championship from Paige Bellamy. The top Super 1600 driver in the points is Craig Lomax. After qualifying, Tristan Ovenden, the man to beat here on home soil. In contrast, Craig Lomax struggling. He's only 10th. We're ready for the MSA Super National and Super 1600 Rallycross final. Tristan Ovenden starts on pole with Paige Bellamy and Jack Thorne alongside. Guy Corner and Darren Scott are on row 2. Paul Coney, Alan Tapscott and Craig Lomax are on row 3. 6 laps ahead of us. The lights go green, it's blast off, and the V6 Clio howls away from the grid. Tristan Ovenden is away and gone as they head to the loose for the first time. This is a very Clio-friendly circuit as Jack Thorne, Darren Scott, Craig Lomax all get the Joker out of the way early on. You're on board with Lomax. Brake, turn right, turn left, back onto the power. Busy road ahead of him. Sometimes serving the Joker is good because it gets you out of the traffic. For him, it's kept him in the traffic. Paul Coney on the back of Guy Corner there. Look, Paige Bellamy running second, but Tristan Ovenden, local man, he leads the pack as they climb the hill here. Tristan Ovenden, the man from Canterbury, up front, and that glorious sounding V6 Renault Clio powering downhill. In a sense, the battle's on for second place. We had a great semi-final battle between Paige Bellamy here in the Lotus and Guy Corner behind. The pair from Northallerton are running together in the final as well, ahead of Paul Coney, and he is the top Super 1600 driver on track at the moment. 1 lap in the book and Ovenden was the leader by 2 seconds, so he's getting away. Along the Dover slope once more on the tarmac, and this is where the rear-wheel drive Clio can put down the power and build that advantage yet further. The Lotus Exige running in second place of Paige Bellamy. Up the hill, hard on the brakes, and into the hairpin they turn now. Paige Bellamy accelerates downhill, Guy Corner behind, still running in that third place, and Paul Coney in the different spec of car, remember, Super 1600 against Super National. Not quite as powerful, 1.6 litre engine as the upper size you're allowed in Super 1600. He's falling away a little bit in 4th place, but crucially keeping the class opposition at bay. Guy Corner then accelerates his way here around the Joker lap at Chessons at turn 1. And that will drop him back now behind Alan Tapscott, at least for the moment. Will it keep him ahead of Darren Scott? It will. Scott's got himself up past Jack Thorne. So there, look, they accelerate down towards us. Jack Thorne, different car, different livery for the weekend, falls back behind Darren Scott now. Jack Thorne, who was absolutely golden at Silverstone, he won there. He also won outright at Pembrey in the first of the 2 days of action back in the summer. There's also a bit of smoke coming from Thorne's car. Now, do we need to worry about that? We might do. I think it's just bodywork pushed against a tyre, but the danger is it cuts the tyre and puts him off the road. It might explain why he's fallen back behind Darren Scott. It certainly explains why the pace is ebbing away. Through they come then now, Scott on the tail of Corner. Ovenden leading by 3.5 seconds, give or take, from Paige Bellamy. Paul Coney is third ahead of Alan Tapscott, the massively experienced Alan Tapscott. They're just going out of shot. Corner is next, keeping Darren Scott behind him. Brake hard, turn into the Devil's Elbow. Jack Thorne flings the car in. Powers up the hill. So Jack Thorne, who's been doing great things earlier on in the season with his Renault Twingo, comes down the hill, but Tristan Ovenden is just dominating the race, no argument about it. And Guy Corner, having jokered, busy defending his place now. There is Ovenden, and he will get the joker out of the way this time around. On the tarmac, turn sharp right, through the left, through the right flick. You're on the loose, you've gone out of the chicane, and now you're back on the power, the speed building all the time. But Paige Bellaby goes through for the moment to inherit the race lead, but she is still to joker. Guy Corner then is next in the queue. Now he's third on the track, he's the second of those that have jokered. The key to all of this is whether he is going quickly enough or whether he's being delayed by defending from Darren Scott, whether he can go ahead of Paige Bellaby. Paige will have to get the joker done this time around. She's inevitably going to lose the lead because on grunt alone the Clio is catching. There is Paul Coney. He accelerates down the hill. Paige Bellaby starts the last lap, goes joker, but Guy Corner is the one to watch. It's not really for the race lead. There's Alan Tapscott keeping at bay just Craig Lomax, but is Guy Corner going to go ahead of Paige Bellaby? This is Lomax's view. Down towards Chestnut's Drift. There is Bellaby, there is Corner behind. So Paige Bellaby has hung on to second place, but Tristan Ovenden is on target for yet another win. This will be 5 this season. Tristan Ovenden was victorious here and at Croft and at Pembrey and at Croft again. So win number 5 beckons for the Renault Clio driver, the man from Canterbury, ahead of the Northallerton duo, Paige Bellaby, then Guy Corner, and it's Darren Scott running in 4th place. Checkered flag at the ready. Tristan Ovenden does it again to continue this stranglehold on Super National this year. Paige Bellaby takes 2nd. Guy Corner comes home 3rd ahead of Darren Scott, and then Jack Thorne. Paul Coney delayed. He's down to 6th, losing out also in Super 1600. So Ovenden, Bellaby, Corner the top 3. Darren Scott 4th ahead of Jack Thorne. Paul Coney 6th from Alan Tapscott, and Craig Lomax in 8th. What does that do to the championship? Well, Ovenden clear in Super National from Paige Bellaby, and then Paul Coney, Jack Thorne 4th. In the isolated Super 1600 contest, it's Darren Scott ahead by 2 points. From Lydden, and a great day of racing, controversial at times, but full of action. The series heads back to South Wales. 1 day of action coming up next at Pembrey.